Alright guys, welcome to another episode of the Ultimate Rebellion Podcast. We are headed down to Salt Lake to go run an overhead on a demolition track out. But figured it was a great time. We got a good drive ahead of us to record a podcast. We had a lot of great feedback, some good, some bad, about our couple podcasts we posted last week. But with that, we wanted to give a little introduction, give a little background, and then kind of tell you what you're going to get each week with the Ultimate Rebellion Podcast. So, my name, Gabriel Tams. I'm going to be on it every week. AJ is here with us today. He is going to be the one producing the podcast, so he will be here every week. And we're going to just bring the most information that'll be worth your time every week to help, honestly, change and grow to a better you. I mean, we come up with the Ultimate Podcast ultimately because it was rebel against your old self. That's where it all started from. Each day we want to get better. Each day we want to build and grow. We have to rebel from our bad habits, our old habits. We have to rebel from our old self. And ultimately, in today's society, we have to rebel against society. I mean, it's such a closed-in culture. Rebel against that. Be healthy. Be free. Be who you are. Don't let anybody else determine that. Rebel against society. Rebel against your old self. Become better each day.
We're going to make these a little bit longer than what our first couple were. We're thinking 30 minutes to an hour long podcasts each week. We're going to try and upload it every Thursday.
Yep, so be consistent, or we're going to start being consistent. Thursday morning it'll come up. Give you a little boost for midweek to finish out the week strong, push on from there. Like AJ said, they're going to be a little bit longer. You know, some of them, they might be short though. Some of them, something just that's really pressing, I just want to get out there and say. It might just be a 5-minute short clip, motivation, whatever it may be. But we're going to try to have them longer. And we're even going to do a couple of interviews, bring some other people on, mentors, other people that are working just like we are to build ourselves, build businesses, and just learn and grow together. And, you know, go out there and make a crap ton of money and conquer the world. So moving on actually pretty quick into this one, I just finished a 48-hour fast. And it was super challenging. But as I finished that fast this morning, it was actually a challenge that was done by Keaton. Most people know him as the Muscle from Diesel Brothers, but he extended the challenge, and it was mental health. And he challenged us at the end of the fast to take an hour, write down who we are, who we want to become, and how we're going to close that gap. And as I was doing that this morning, you know, I went over a couple things. 48-hour fast, it's hard. I was watching people eat lunch. I was watching my family eat dinner. We even had some people come to our house for dinner one night, and I watched them eat dinner. And I went, okay, well, that was hard, but I didn't learn that. I knew I could do hard things. I knew I could push through that. I mean, 48 hours, your human body's amazing. Like, you give it water. I mean, I had some Mountain Ops, electrolytes, had that done. Was I hungry? Yes. Was it the hardest thing in the world? No. So writing down, what did I learn from the 48-hour fast? And it came down to, I learned that I can go without. I can do hard things. Yes, you watch other people, but ultimately I learned I can go without. I can go without food when other people are eating. I can go without the emotion that food brings. A lot of us eat for enjoyment. I can go without that. I can go without items to reach the goals I have in mind, that I have set. So you take that and you put it into life. Keeping up with the Joneses. Everybody's heard about that. It's a saying that goes around, especially in some of the higher communities, higher dollar communities. They call it keeping up with the Joneses. Your neighbor gets a new truck, so you got to go buy a new truck. Your neighbor gets a camp trailer, you go buy a camp trailer. Well, the next thing you know, you're in debt $100,000 wondering how you're going to make your payments, all because you wanted to keep up with your neighbor. to have that flash, have that show saying you can keep up. And this is where I think this 48-hour fast taught me the most. It doesn't matter what other people have. I mean, I watch you guys eat lunch, snacks, drinks, all of that. It was hard. It's not easy to sit there and watch someone eat when you haven't eaten for 36 hours. But it goes the same as keeping up with the Joneses. I would rather go hungry and be mentally strong than to eat that lunch. I would rather drive an old beater piece of crap than get myself in debt $100,000 just to have the show of a new truck. You know, once I'm there and I can afford it, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy a new truck. That's that you celebrate those small wins. You get that reward. Hey, I have enough capital, cash flow, whatever you want to call it, and that's going to be different for every person. But you have to be honest with yourself and make that call. Can I truly afford this? And when you can, do it. But I'm not at that point right now. I'm still reaching my goals. I'm still building my business. I'm building myself. So I'm looking at it as, okay, these things I want, they're my goals in the future, but I haven't been honest with myself on going without now to reach my goals sooner. And that's really the main thing I learned from this 48-hour fast was it's okay. It's okay to watch other people have what you want and stay on track to your goals rather than to splurge, which most of the time when we splurge, we set ourselves up for failure just to have it for a minute. We gotta stop and get a drink or something. Okay, so going back into this, kind of recapping, like 48-hour fast, learned I can go with that. It really reminded me, I have a great mentor in business. He's been in business a long time. I asked him a lot of questions, roll ideas off of him, and he gave me a lesson about chapters. And at first I was like, were we talking about books? He's like, no, we're talking about chapters in your life. And he started off with, when you start your business, that is chapter 1. So myself with Rugged HD, I am on chapter 4. We just ended chapter 3, we're on to chapter 4. Well, he's in chapter 20 or whatever it may be. And a lot of business owners, a lot of husbands and wives, it doesn't matter, whatever you're in, you will get caught up on seeing what other people have when they're in a higher chapters than you are. And he explained, his example was, I was in chapter 2 at this time. And he's like, I had 2 employees, I just hired a secretary, like I thought I was doing really good, and at this point I was coming to him asking about drawing more money out of the company than just my paycheck, and when do I give myself a raise, and I'm a business owner now, I want to go on vacations, I want to do these things. And luckily he checked me hard on that, and he said, okay, you want to do all those things, let me see your books, let me see your numbers. And okay, yeah, here you go. I show them to him and I'm proud. I'm like, yeah, check this out. And he goes, okay, do you have any money saved for this? Do you have any money? Well, and it was, what's your insurance policy? Have you checked it? Has it gone up? Has it changed? You have more employees now. You're hiring a secretary. Like, you have to have capital and savings for expenses and just all this stuff that I needed to learn on chapter 2. But I was looking at where people in chapter 20 were spending their money. They were going on their vacations. They were buying new cars. They were investing in stock markets or other businesses, whatever it may be. And I was trying to jump ahead 18 chapters and act like I was on chapter 20. Where instead I needed to focus on chapter 2, set myself up for success so I can play in chapter 20 like I want to play. And doing this 48-hour fast really brought that back. It says, where am I in life? What are my goals? Where am I? And what do I need to go without to get there? And that's really what I have to sit down to do. This is where I want to be. I want to be at chapter 20. We all want to be at chapter 20. We all want to have nice vehicles. We want to have everything paid for, go on vacation, do these things that we work so hard for. But if we're not setting ourselves up in chapter 2, in chapter 3, in chapter 4, even in chapter 20, they're still setting themselves up to be better in chapter 30. If we're not doing those things, we're going to be bankrupt in chapter 20. We're going to be having to sell our house, refinance, do whatever to make these instead of being out playing, building passive income. We're going to be broke. We're going to be looking for a job. We're going to be trying to sell businesses to recoup any money we can. And if we don't realign our goals, or look at our goals, reassess them, adjust, and go again, we're never going to get to where we're playing in chapter 2.
So we almost have to keep yourself in check.
Yeah.
Just not jump ahead.
Yep. Well, and the benefits of this 48-hour fast keep going. You can say, okay, well, I just put my body in check. The 48-hour fast, there's so much about jump-starting your metabolism, cleansing your organs, your mindset. We have to do the same with our goals that we're doing with our physical stuff. We have to check where we're at. Are we overweight? Are we underweight? Do we need to bulk up? Do we need to hit hard? Do we need to have a rest day? It has to be a constant adjustment. Every week, I was actually talking to another business owner today. He did the 48-hour fast with me, and he said, every week is different. He said, when I started this business, I did not realize how different every day, but let alone every week is going to be. Some weeks it's huge, we're running, we're going like crazy. The next week, hey, we're actually cold calling people looking for work, or we're dealing with a warranty. Whatever it may be, it's always different. There's never just a straight line. You don't start a business and just steadily increase like that. There's ups and downs and hills and valleys, and hell, we're even going to talk about side shifting, just dropping that idea, moving to the side, getting a different perspective, going again. But just to never check yourself, never reevaluate where you are on your journey, how are you ever going to get to your goal? You're not going to get there. You're going to be 5 years down the road when you hope to be there, wondering why you're not. Instead of the guy that's constantly reevaluating. And that's up to you. Whether you're doing it weekly, monthly, I don't know, maybe it's more the goal you have. Big goals, hey, they're going to take a couple of years. I don't need to reevaluate them as much. But small goals, hey, I can do this in a month, I'm going to reevaluate that almost daily. Oh, here's a great example. We set our goal for social media, right?
Yeah.
So we want YouTube to get 100 subscribers. We're constantly, every day, hey, did that work? Oh, let's try this. Oh, hey, that worked good. Look, this blew up. We got 8 new subscribers off of this. Okay, let's evaluate that video. What was that video? Was there something special? Was there something unique? And find what it is, and then keep going. It's because if we weren't doing that, if we were just going, well, we're just going to post a bunch of videos and hope we get there. Well, we could be posting garbage that no one cares about. We're not going to get there. So that's a great example of a short-term goal. Hey, we're going to get 100 followers by the end of the month. We're looking at it daily. Where we can take that same social media goal. Hey, we want to get paid by YouTube. Okay, we understand that that's not going to happen in a month. But if we hit our monthly goals consistently, we will get to the point where we are getting paid by YouTube. And it's going to be a constant journey change. It's going to be, what do people like? Throughout this whole journey, that goal every month is going to change. Especially because I think the audience changes. And then social media changes so much. Now YouTube has shorts. Oh, hey, not just videos now. You can do these little clips like Instagram and TikTok and get subscribers and views and everything off of that too.
That's the big thing. When we first started doing all the social media stuff, we had the big long-term goal, but I didn't know how it's progressing, or I didn't have any short-term goals, to where when I finally did, now I see actual progress. I know what to be looking for. I feel like it's helped us grow a little bit too.
Oh, 100% it's the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. We have this goal of, what is it? Do you have to have 10,000 followers on YouTube and so much history to start getting paid?
1,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube, and I think it's 100,000 hours or 10,000 hours
or something like that. Yeah, whatever it is. That's a huge goal, and you have to break that down to the monthly. Okay, let's just start with 100 followers. How do we get to 100? Okay, great. This is how, or we put it out there and we tried it. Oh, look, this video got us 8 because we did this. Like we just said, it's that constant adjust and change. But to just have an overwhelming goal of getting 1,000 subscribers, you almost burn yourself out hoping that it'll happen.
Yep. It was all hopes, and it was just, all right, post here and there, see what happens. Hopefully you blow up. But when you have a set goal and okay, I'm going to post daily, you see those increments move.
Yeah.
Whether they're little or big.
Well, and I actually like that, because it's anything. It's like, okay, we're gonna start a business. That's what I get. I get a ton of people, hey, I want to start a business. What was the first thing you did? Honestly, the first thing I did is I had a desire. Okay. But that doesn't get anybody anywhere. Oh, I got a desire to be a business owner. Okay, great. What business are you going to be in? What category? What's the information behind all that? If you're not taking action every day, your hopes, your desires, dreams, whatever you're going to call them, that's all they are. They're hopes and dreams. But if we have a goal or a benchmark we're going to hit, and we have action steps to get there, then it becomes reachable. And this formula you can apply anywhere in life. I look at my kids. I have 3 boys. They all are resilient. You watch it coming from a baby and growing up. They don't stop because they fell down a couple times as they were trying to learn how to walk. They don't stop riding their bike because they fell. They don't stop learning how to play a sport because they weren't good at it the first time. But as adults, we lose that resilience. As we get, it's just, you get beat up as you grow up. And so you start to go, man, that's going to be hard. Oh, look, I failed. I'm just going to give up. When you just need to get a different perspective, or even just because you failed, maybe you don't even need a perspective. Maybe you just need to change, or you just need to try again. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't. There's a lot of reasons, but sometimes you need to shift and get a new perspective, readjust and go. Other times you just need to stay with it, push until it does happen. And if you're not willing to do that, you're not going to go anywhere. That's just sadly all there is to it. If you're not willing to climb the steps to your goal, you're never going to get there.
Okay, so when one fails, they just pretty much give up. They think, oh, I can't do it. But it could have been just one little dependent variable that set them off to where they failed. And that's all they would have to change for the next time they try. But how do you motivate yourself to not give up like that? What advice can you give on that?
So I should say I'm going through this. I had a really great idea. I was working with a partner, and we were pushing this. It's an industrial business hard. We wanted this going to make this happen. But as we were in our planning stages, as we were coming up with funding, everything like that, the economy dropped. And this was going to be it was going to be industrial, but it was a housing market, so residential housing. And it was like, oh man, like, well, we just missed it. Like, well, now we're just going to pretty much put this in a folder and stick it in the filing cabinet until they start building residential houses again, and then we'll go for it. So, not 100% failure, but I didn't like that. I'm sitting there going, man, I have hours. I mean, we would spend hours a night talking about this, calling people, running numbers. We have this whole freaking spreadsheet built that we can change our prices and it'll run our P&L for us. Like, all this time into it, and I didn't like just saying, oh, well, the economy's dropped out, so we're just going to put it on hold. And so more it just egged at me and went, okay, I just need to adjust this. Instead of our main plan, we just thought, okay, well, let's take a piece of this and see if we can do it mobile for commercial development. There's still tons of commercial development going on. There's still, apartments that are getting built, everything like that would be enough income to make this work. But if I would have just put this away in a filing cabinet and never touched it again, I 100% would have never came up with this next idea of going, hey, let's take this mobile and do it for commercial instead of full scale for residential. And making that all work was just crazy. Like, the emotions that went into that, and then the determination of all the time and effort. So I guess my advice would be, from that example, was I didn't like how it tasted. So to get that taste out of my mouth, what was I going to do? Like, no, man, you got to stay motivated, you got to stay diligent, and you got to just tweak and adjust and make it work. It's going to work. If you have a solid idea, it's going to work. Yeah, there'd be times where it doesn't. But that doesn't mean you have to give up on your dream of being a business owner. That means cut your losses and come up with something else. It doesn't have to be even in the same industry, but you just got to evaluate, is it a good idea or not? And if it is, stick with it. It's going to pop off. Because the taste of failure sucks. And then we've all tasted it. So we get that out of our mouths by having small wins and moving and adjusting. And then we start tasting the wins. And then, man, you just eat those up. And you want the next one. You want the next one. And before you know it, you're 4 years into business and wondering how you got here. But looking back going, man, it was good.
So you need to quit saying I can't and into turning that into how can I.
Yeah, 100%. Because I hate the word can't. Like, it's exactly right. I can do it instead of what do I need to adjust to make it happen. Alright guys, so hopefully at the end of each podcast we want you to walk away thinking, having thoughts, something you can change in your life to move forward, to progress, to reach those goals. And hopefully we did that with you today. And there was a lot we talked about with goals and going without, but honestly, take a minute and think about that. What can you change in your life? What can you go without that's going to help you progress forward towards your goals? As always, rebel from it. Get away from it as fast as you can. Move forward. Get better. Do better. So we can start this rebellion movement. We get this movement going. It's just going to help everybody in life out. So start a rebellion. Go be a rebel.